Welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today and you guys are continuing to grow your business each and every day. Make sure to continue to get those listings up and the shipments out to Amazon before the holiday seasons start so you can get those massive sales for Q4, guys. So today we're going to be talking about the sell-through rate of your items and the margins you guys are getting on those items. So if you guys watched my DVD video about 2 months ago, it's the best viewed video on my channel. It's got like 300 views now. It's awesome. Thank you guys for that. But if you guys watched that video, I talked about selling DVDs and at what margins, like how much you should make per DVD. And I wasn't a big fan of selling things that you're only making $3 to $5 on. Really, anything under like $4, I don't touch. And over the past few weeks, now that I've been like in super list mode and relist mode for the holidays, that I've kind of had a change of heart on the matter. So I wanted to make a whole video on whether or not that you guys go for the quick sales or do you guys just stick to those high profit margins. So let's go ahead and talk about like where do you get this stuff, how much we pay for it. So pretty much you get a video game or a DVD at Goodwill or a thrift store or whatever, and they're usually anywhere from like $1 to $3. I know at my Goodwill they're $2 to $3, $2 for a DVD, $3 for a Blu-ray, and video games are anywhere from like $3 to $5, just depending on what they're wanting to price it at. So really the profit margins or the cost of the goods are very, very low, but the profit margins are also not very good. So if you're selling something for $10 that you bought for $2, so let's just use those as our numbers. So you buy it for $10, you have a $2 cost, which now you're down to $8, and then you have to pay 10% for selling it, so now you're down to $7. And then you get to your shipping cost. So let's just take an average shipping cost of $3. It's usually less than that if you're just selling something that's only 4 ounces. It's like $2.70, $2.60, or $2.80, so something like that. But let's just use $3 as an average. So now we're down to $4. Is it really worth it to only make that $4 because it's not that much money? In my opinion, now after reposting all of these items and listing new items, I think it could be a good business decision for someone that doesn't have a lot of capital, okay? So obviously, if you have a bunch of money to spend, you can obviously buy the very expensive items and make more money off that, and I'll get to that later in the video. But if you're just starting out as a reseller, or maybe you don't have a lot of money, or you just want to make every little dollar you can, selling DVDs and video games is a really good idea because people are always wanting DVDs and people are always wanting video games. People want media. And now you could make the argument of, physical media is going away. It's all going digital. If you can rent a video game or buy a video game online, why go out and buy one and wait for it to come in? That's a good argument, but in my opinion, there's always collectors out there. And as resellers, we're always going to go for those collectors. I mean, I sell so many collectibles. It's insane. Like, that's really what I like to focus on because I enjoy buying this stuff. As you can see, I have like some toys right there and a transformer. Like, I love buying that sort of stuff. So I know what collectors want. So the stuff I buy really appeals to them. Now, you might not be an expert in DVDs or video games or media in general. I am not like necessarily an expert in DVDs, but video games, I know I could tell you pretty much whatever a video game is worth. I used to collect video games all the time, right? So for me, I know what video games are worth. And after trying to sell DVDs and Blu-rays, I kind of have gotten the idea of what I need to sell and what will make me money. If you guys didn't watch my DVD video on how to sell DVDs, definitely go watch that. It gives you a good idea of what genres actually sell. And I want to do one of these on Blu-ray, VHS, video games. I kind of want to go down the line and I want to get more sales data before I do it. I've sold a ton of Blu-rays in the past week, but I want to get a little bit more sales data. That way I can show you guys a little bit more of the items that I have personally sold. So that will be coming in the future, but it is a good idea to make sure to, it's a good idea to do this in the first place to get knowledgeable about all these different things, but I know it is hard to do that. So maybe watch some of these videos, watch other people's videos on other, categories like shoes or clothing. Like me, I am terrible in shoes and clothing, but I know I can get these items for very cheap. I can get them for $1, $2, $5, whatever. And if I can do that and then sell them quickly, why not do it, right? So as smaller sellers, so I am a full-time reseller, but I am considering myself a small reseller because I don't have a lot of room to buy a lot of big stuff, right? So I have to stick to the toys, the video games, the action figure, same thing, the CDs, all that sort of stuff, board games. So I really am I'm selling more of the entertainment aspect of things. I'm not selling like tools and clothing and parts for cars and stuff like that. Like, I'm not in that industry on eBay. On Amazon, I am. I sell anything on Amazon. But with eBay, I just don't have a lot of room to store the big stuff, right? So for me, the little stuff is the stuff that sells quickly, pretty much. Anything entertainment media sells very quickly. So it's worth it for me to buy that for $1 or $2, make $4 or $5, and then recoup my money, right? So if I sell 10 of those items, I'm making $40. That's a pretty good deal, right? $40, and say if I sell 10 of them in a month, I make $40. That's an extra $160 a month. Why wouldn't you do it? If it's something that is sitting there on the shelf for $2, double your money. Why not just go ahead and double your money? And the reason you wouldn't want to do that, or a lot of people don't like doing that, and that's why I didn't do it, in the first place when I was starting like a few months back, when I was like really getting up to being a full-time reseller. I told myself, I was like, man, I don't need to worry about those small sales. They're only gonna make me a few dollars, right? I shouldn't deal with them, right? Because it'll take too much time and too much energy. And why would I, take the time out of my day to list 10 to 15, 20 items that are only going to make me $3 or $4, and then I have to pack them up and then take them to the post office. I have to use my tape. I have to use my packaging, right? So it costs money and it costs time to do this, obviously, and you're only making a minimal amount of money off of it. But when it adds up over time, I think it's worth it. In my opinion, for my business model, I think it is worth it, because if you're making an extra $40 a week off of these small sales, but these sales that are selling very, very quickly, if you can sell these within a week and you get $40, and then you also pile them on top of your 10, your 20, your 40, your $100 sales, it adds up over time. And that's kind of what it really came to light for me when I saw it on Amazon, right? So when I sell on Amazon, I sell a lot of stuff that sells very, very quickly, so I can recoup my money and get it back. So I might only make like a couple dollars, and I'm spending $10. I'm spending $10 to make $2, but it automatically sells when it gets into Amazon, and I don't have to touch it. The money just comes back to me, and I just repeat the process over and over again. So I said, why don't I try and do this for my eBay store, right? And let's see how it works. And with the Blu-rays, it's been doing pretty good. I sold a Blu-ray today for $25. Now it was a good example of a Blu-ray when I make my Blu-ray video of what Blu-rays to buy. It was an indie title, and it sold for $25. I bought it for $2. And it's just something that I knew, hey, buy the titles that don't have a lot of production, that were indie titles that just didn't get mainstream love, right? So it's just one of those things, one of those niche, very, very niche things within the Blu-ray category to look for. And like I said, I'll do a video on that in the future. But there's a lot of different things that can sell very quickly, like coins, for example. You don't like old coins, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic cards, pictures, autographs. There's so many things that you can sell that are very, very cheap, that you might necessarily not find them at a thrift store or something like that. But if you can pick them up, why not do it? Now, I do want to make something clear, is don't buy something that is going to be over like 4 ounces, that is going to cut into your margins because of the shipping cost. Like if I was to ship one of these action figures out, it would definitely cost me more than $2.70. It would probably cost me close to $4 to $5. And if I'm buying that for $2 and selling it for $10, it's not worth it. So make sure it's something that'll fit in a bubble mailer that's only going to cost you under $3 to ship it, or it's just not worth it to cut into your margins like that just to sell something. So make sure to keep your shipping costs into account, because that's always something important to do when you're selling anything. Now, like I said earlier in the video, when I was talking about small sellers selling these things that sell very quickly and you're not making a lot of money on, and the big sellers really taking advantage of those massive profits, but they have to pay up for them, I think that's something important. Like for myself, I don't have the availability to buy massive things and put them in my room and store them and then ship them. I just don't have the room for it. I live on the 3rd floor. I'm not going to carry a bunch of stuff up the stairs. I have a few things. I've bought a computer before. Like there's a bunch of big things that I have bought, but it takes so much work for me to be able to do that. Now, obviously, if it's a massive profit and I've got, like $50 to $100 that I can make on it, I'm going to take it. But why buy something big for myself that I'm only going to make like 20 to 30 bucks on? So it really just, like I said, it depends on your situation. If you're a small seller, you don't have a lot of money, buy those $1 to $2 items, because if you can buy those $1 to $2 items, make $4 to $5, if you can sell those, you can eventually build your capital up, build the amount of money you have so that you can buy those items that might be $100, but they sell for $300, right? So of course, you always want to have the money available when something comes up on the market that you want to buy to resell, but that's not always the case. So if you are just starting out, or you are a small seller, or you don't have a lot of money, make these quick sales and build your capital up. Now, don't spend that money on food or video games. Put it in a separate spot. be smart with the money, and then eventually you'll be able to build your money up, build your capital to where you can buy those big things to make those $100 and $200 sales. But I do think it is smart for a lot of people. I would say like 70% of resellers should be making these quick sales. Even for me, if I can just make a few of them a week, it just definitely helps my money, and it puts it into perspective. Like with the Amazon, the way I sell on Amazon, it puts it into perspective. Hey, this stuff works. If you can sell enough of it, you can get an extra $100, $200, $300 a month just by selling that stuff. So another way I like to look at it is with the stock market. So I invest in the stock market. I put 10% of my net profit into the stock market to invest. And when I look at it, I'm like, okay, so if I buy a stock for $1 or $2, and then a week later it goes up to $4, that's an amazing percentage. And that's how I've always thought of it, because when I started reselling like full time, or not full time, but like as an actual reseller, like I was trying to make money off this when I was 18. I was also starting to invest in the stock market. So I was like, hey, if I can make $2 to $4 on a stock, that'd be absolutely amazing. But if I can do that with a DVD, and then I can do that 20 times and sell it off, and it just keep going and going and going. So I always have that in my mind. Since I do invest in the stock market, I always think about percentages when I'm buying something. I'm like, hey, is it worth to buy something for $10 but make $5 back? Yeah, it is. So that's just how I like to think of it. It definitely helps if you have other ways to think of money. I like to think myself as a very smart business person. I've been doing it for a while, and I do have a bunch of different ways to think of business. So just let me know down below, guys. Do you have any other like interests or hobbies that involve business, business related things, not just reselling? Like I said, I love the stock market. I love learning about the economy and just money in general, and saving money and being smart with it. So let me know down below if you guys have any of those hobbies. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit that thumbs up button. I would really appreciate it. If this video helped you, let me know, of course. And if you want to see more of me and your subscription feed, definitely hit that subscribe button, guys. I'll see you in the next video, and make sure to continue to grow your business each and every day. I'll see y'all later.